If you're a product leader, one of the biggest challenges nowadays is to manage remote teams. Not because remote teams are problematic on their own, but the fact that people are in different locations requires you to have a different mindset and potentially different tools to get your job and your team's job done. So before we start talking about how to manage or work with remote teams, I want to remind you that I have created a free guide that you can go and download that is going to help you establish your product management process in your company. This might help you whether you are a product leader or if you are starting with product management. And while you're in your way in, please remember to give a like and subscribe to the channel. So one of the first things that you're going to have to do when you are working with remote teams is that you have to make sure that your strategy is adapted to that. First of all, because many of your team members might be in different locations, you have to be sure that you are able to conduct user research in a, let's say, relatively normal way. You might not be able to be next to the person that you are working with or the user that you want to research, but you have to establish the ways of working, how you are going to find those remote potential users that you want to talk or that you want to interview to understand them better. And this is especially important in this case because you have to remember how to establish the feedback loops with those customers. You also have to remember to be very data-driven. And this is going to happen if your product in any case is international in nature. So if your product is sold only in one place and you can reach to your potential users or your customers, you might be able to do this with interviews, and your product doesn't have very wide reach, might be the best way to do it. But if you have a relatively big audience for your product or many users, you want to establish the data, the telemetry in the product so you understand how people are interacting with your product. This is not about tracking them to spy them, but it's to understand what is important for them, how to prioritize, what are the things and the aspects, features of your product that you should be promoted, that you should be reinforcing, that you should be making better because potentially they are not working as well as they should, or because they are very important and you have to make sure that you develop them further. Effective collaboration is probably going to be one of the most important things to have in place when you have remote teams. This means that you have to make sure that your team is working together. You have to make sure that the team is helping each other to achieve the goals that they have. So for example, if you have a product team, so product manager, product designer, team lead, and they are all located in different locations, you want them to work together as a team. You don't want them to be doing handovers. That's going to be time consuming for them. This can be achieved in many different ways, and Scrum is a good example how to create a framework to do this. So for example, you can have your dailies, your sprint plannings, your reviews, your retros, and you can also have things like working sessions or pair programming where you have two people working in the same topic, doing it together at the same time. Well, in this case, it's not pair programming. You also want to build a strong team. Of course, this is done also through some of the activities that I mentioned earlier, by being able to have a team that works together, that really is engaged and really has clear goals, is going to have a much better result for the work that they are doing and for the way that the team works. Having a strong team culture, being able to make sure that people feel like they belong, like what they are contributing is important. It's going to be key for your team to be successful. You can do this with different virtual, in-person team building activities. You can do this with sometimes having one-on-ones or mentoring and coaching sessions where you try to help the team develop and grow, get better in the way that they are doing their job, basically. Recognition, rewards, giving feedback is always going to be something that is going to be really good for the team building and for the team spirit and the team culture. And you also want to establish clear goals. You want to have clear objectives for the team, especially if you cannot be working with them on a regular basis. You want to have clear goals, and this can be sometimes KPIs or OKRs. I like them to a certain degree, but I don't think that people should depend only on them. When people only focus on one metric especially, that can be quite misleading, or you can justify many reasons just to improve that metric. So I think that there has to be either a set of KPIs or a set of KPIs plus a strategy or strategic areas that are going to help them prioritize and achieve those goals that they have. Regular performance reviews is also something that is going to benefit them, that is going to help them understand where they might be lacking and where are their strong areas. And transparent metrics is gonna be keys. If you set KPIs for the team and OKRs, if you are setting then those goals and you don't share them with them and they cannot see how they're achieving those ones, that's potentially going to be a problem. This potentially happens more than often than not in certain companies, but it's something that the more clear or the more accessible those KPIs are, the better it's going to be for the team to understand that are they on track to achieve those ones. So if they want to achieve a certain number of recurring visitors to a website, for example, in marketing, they should be able to track this and should be able to have it visible in an easy manner, let's put it that way. But finally, there's going to be the tools. When you work in this kind of remote or hybrid environment, you have to have a set of tools that is going to help you do this. There are going to be many collaborative tools that are going to help you do this. For example, you have Miro, which you can use for doing workshops, planning sessions as well. It's a really great tool, very easy to collaborate with other people, and people usually pick it up relatively fast. Something like Notion or Confluence or somewhere where you can have your documentation that everybody can access the same place and even work in the same document at the same time. Of course, Teams or Microsoft Office Suite, it also fulfills many of these purposes. I'm not the biggest fan of that one, but it works. You can also use it. And then, of course, you had to have tools for communication. So something like Slack, Microsoft Teams, Google, I don't even remember which one is Google nowadays. It used to be Hangouts. Is it Google Chat nowadays, maybe? One of those is going to help you a lot to have like the dedicated channels for the teams to talk with each other, potentially channels where they can go and get help from other people that might be specialists in certain topics, and so on. This is going to be, these are going to be different tools that are going to help you develop a collaborative environment for distributed teams. Also, I forgot about this. Of course, this being a product management channel, I would like to mention some of the tools that are going to be used for product management. So something that is going to be used for road mapping, whether you're using Notion, I have used Notion in the past, it works great. So just go ahead and use it. Or you can use something like a more dedicated tool like AHA, Product Board, Air Focus, there's a bunch of them. Just go check them out. They are quite interesting. They are usually more to do portfolio management, strategy, and alignment, prioritization within potentially even many different teams. But if you have a smaller team, I would generally recommend to stick to a smaller tool, something like even Notion or Jira, for example, could serve you probably pretty well, and you don't have to go to those other tools. So no matter whether you are a product leader or you are a product manager, working and understanding how to work with distributed teams, remote teams, is going to be very key. Whether you have a policy in the company of being at the office or not, most likely if you are in a company that has a couple of offices in different places, there's no difference from working with remote people. So you really have to establish those ways of working that are going to make your life easier and hopefully not drown you with meetings, and that gives you the space for you to work with that team, to collaborate, understand where you are, plan together, align, and deliver on those goals that you have. If you want to know more about the responsibilities and the role of a product leader, someone like a chief product officer, which is a role that many people that watch this channel probably aspire to, please go check out this video. I will see you in the next one, and remember, stay safe.